Can you entertain a crowd or show school spirit on the sidelines? Maybe you should be a part of next year's Spirit Squads. Details ahead.
Plus, rebounding after the pandemic, how the yearbook staff plans to capture this year's moments in time.
And a sit-down conversation with wrestling state champ Demarius Medlock and his road to the title after a 7-year drought.
It's Friday, March 12th. Grizzly News This Morning starts now.
Good morning, Northside, and welcome to Grizzly News This Morning. I'm Kevin Porras.
And I'm Essence Farmer. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get to those top stories in just a bit. But first, we start today's show with a reminder of who we are as Grizzlies.
When it comes to our school's principles and how the faculty and staff execute that vision, administration asks for us as students to take a closer look at our mission statement. Grizzly News reporter Sarai Ibarra joins us for that reading. Sarai?
The mission of Northside High School is a community for lifelong learning that provides equitable opportunities which equip, encourage, and empower all individuals to reach their full potential.
It's administration's hope that this clear goal for both staff and students improves the growth of the mission statement's core beliefs while applying those ideas to their daily work.
It's college poster time, and we want to remind you to get those made. Once you receive your acceptance letters, email or send a picture of it to acoats1@fortsmithschools.org to get your picture made.
Don't forget, you have a few picture options. You can stop by room 104 to have your picture taken, or email the picture you want to use on your poster to acoats1@fortsmithschools.org.
Last month, we introduced a new segment called Book Talks with Darius and Damaris. The segment focuses on getting students to read more by getting them out of their comfort zones and choosing different genres of books. This week, Darius sits down with English teacher Miss Bishop as she talks about a grant she got to help students. Read and enjoy books. Take a look.
Thanks, guys. Good morning and welcome to another week of Book Talk. I'm your host, Darius Wise. Today I'm here with Grizzly English teacher, Miss Bishop. How are you today?
Pretty well, thank you, Darius.
Thank you for joining us. So I hear you received a grant to help students who want to read purchase books. Would you like to tell us more about it?
I'd love to. Yes, I applied for and received one of the Fort Smith Public Schools mini grants that they offer teachers every year. And my concept for the grant was really simple. I just wanted to be able to get books that students want to read into their hands really quickly. I know that sometimes students run into, they can't ever find a book in our library because it's always checked out, or maybe our library doesn't have it. Maybe they cannot get to the public library to look for books there. And sometimes even when they can find books, it takes like weeks for them to get it. So my grant is students tell me a book that they want, I order it that same day, and then I have that book in their hands within a matter of days.
That sounds better than what I heard. This is a great opportunity for students to take part in Book Talk and do exactly what the program was designed to do, broaden students' genre of reading. What do students need to do to take part in this program?
It's really easy. All they need to do is students need to tell me the name of the book that they're wanting to read. If they could tell me the author, that would be great as well, but that's really all there is to it. Then I'll get that book to them quickly, and they return the book to me when they're done reading it.
That sounds amazing. Be sure to contact Ms. Bishop by email at sbishop@fortsmithschools.org. Stop by her room 244 for details. But before we go, Ms. Bishop, would you pick next week's Book Talk guest?
Oh yeah, I'd be happy to. And the Book Talk guest for next week is Mr. Hurst.
Looks like Mr. Hurst will be joining us next week on the set. It should be a good time. Back to the news desk.
Welcome back to another edition of Sports Desk. I'm your host, Christian Salinas. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get started. You may have heard by now that GMN's own Demetrius Medlock won the state title over the weekend for wrestling. He joins me now to tell me all about it. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
All right, so tell me, how did you get into wrestling?
Well, one day I was watching the wrestlers practice. It looked fun. The coach asked me, did I want to do it? And I said yes.
All right, and how did your first season go?
It wasn't too good. I mean, I had a losing record, and I got eliminated in the third round at state last year, so not too well.
All right, so how did that lead to your expectations for your senior year?
Well, my senior year, I felt like I had something to prove. I had to at least place at state.
All right, and then at state, you ended up beating the number 1 seed early on, and that led to a final against the number 4 seed, which you lost to earlier in conference. How did that make you feel?
Well, being the number 1 seed was very exciting, but the number 4 seed, he beat me in conference, so I felt like I had to even the score with him, so I had to beat him in the finals.
Now, after winning a state title, what's next for you in wrestling?
I honestly don't know. Whatever the future holds, I'm going to take it and run with it.
All right, tell us how it feels like to win the first wrestling state title at Northside in 7 years.
I mean, it feels good to know that it's been 7 years since Northside won a wrestling state, and then I'm the one who broke the chain and won.
All right, thank you, man. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Now on to soccer. Varsity boys took their first loss of the season against Van Buren 2-0, and the other soccer teams remained undefeated. The varsity boys soccer team also played against Springdale last night, and we'll have those results for you next week. Now for esports, the Rock League Alpha team's match against the Bryan Hornets was forfeited, and they took a scrimmage loss. They kicked off the regular season with the win and went against Dumas High School last night, and we'll have those results to you next week. The other 2 Rocket League teams are set to play as well, and we wish them all luck. The state and regional teams for League of Legends are continuing their undefeated run from the preseason onto the regular season. Now, on the baseball side of things, they won their game against Van Buren 8-3. Darius Wise ended the game going 2 for 3, including a 3-run RBI to clinch the win against the Pointers. The Grizzlies currently are 4-2 for the season. They played Bentonville West yesterday, and we'll update you with that report next week. The Lady Bear softball squad is undefeated, coming off a huge win against Springdale, 27-9. They are scheduled to go against the Bryan Hornets on Tuesday. Good luck, ladies. For JLTC, the rifle team is set to compete at Lone Oak, where they traveled before in the year, and position team plays first to send them to regionals in Alabama. Good luck, guys. We'll keep you updated next week on their competition. Now let's send it over for Cash for some Grizzly basketball.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to 90 Second Sports. I'm your host, Cassius Williamson, and today we're going to be talking about basketball. It's March Madness, baby, everybody's favorite time of the year. Wednesday, the boys played against Springdale Harbor. They got off to a slow start. They were losing after the first half, but they had a big, strong third quarter to turn that game around, and they were eventually able to win by 5. Thursday, the girls also played Springdale Harbor. They were able to pull out the victory after starting slow, but they advanced to the semifinals. Today, the boys play Fayetteville at 1 o'clock, so beg and plead your teacher to watch the game. I don't care if y'all are in the middle of class, watch the game, support those Grizzlies, because if they beat Fayetteville, the boys will advance to the semifinals to play North Little Rock. The girls play tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I don't care if it's Saturday morning, wake up, watch the girls, support those Lady Bears, support those Grizzlies, because if they win today, they'll also play tomorrow. Let's just have support for our teams. I'm Cassius Williamson. This is 90 Second Sports, and I'll see you next week.
Well, that's a wrap. Before we go, we want to remind those of you who want to audition for next year's Grizzly Spirit Squads. Here's the information you need. Tryouts for Insteppers is March 29th through the April 2nd, and cheer tryouts will be April 6th through the 9th. Hope you enjoyed the show. See you next week. Adios.